St. Augustine is so old that it has seen empires come and go. In fact, 5 different flags have flown over St. Augustine, a one-of-a-kind history that reflected what was happening more broadly across the globe. The first, Spanish rule, lasting from 1565 to 1763. St. Augustine was founded in 1565 by Spanish Admiral Pedro Menendez de Aviles. Its purpose was strategic, not colonial. Spain sought to protect its treasure fleets and prevent rival European powers from threatening its dominance in the New World. The settlement functioned primarily as a military outpost and religious center. Life revolved around the Catholic mission system, military authority, and a rigid imperial hierarchy. The city survived on subsidies from Spain and supply ships from Havana. It was isolated, chronically underfunded, and vulnerable to attack. To defend it, Spain constructed the Castillo de San Marcos, a massive stone fortress symbolizing imperial permanence in a hostile frontier. However, after nearly 200 years, Spanish rule ended not through invasion, but diplomacy. In 1763, following defeat in the 7 Years' War, Spain traded Florida to Great Britain in exchange for the return of Havana, a far more valuable asset. St. Augustine changed flags without a battle. The second flag, British, 1763 to 1783. British governance brought a dramatic shift in priorities. Where Spain emphasized defense and Catholic faith, Britain emphasized development and commerce. Florida was divided into East and West Florida, and St. Augustine became the capital of East Florida. The British introduced private land ownership, agricultural expansion, road construction, and trade networks. The population grew as Loyalists relocated south during the American Revolution. For the first time, St. Augustine experienced economic vitality rather than mere survival. However, the American Revolution reshaped the global balance of power. When Britain lost the war, Florida became a bargaining chip at the negotiating table. In 1783, Britain returned Florida to Spain as a part of the peace settlement. Once again, St. Augustine changed hands by treaty, not by force. Third flag, a new Spanish flag, 1783 to 1821. Spain's return marked a period of decline. This was a weakened empire, strained by years of war in Europe and revolutions throughout Latin America. Florida received little attention, funding, or protection. The territory faced mounting challenges: lawlessness along the frontier, conflicts with the Seminole tribes, escaped slaves seeking refuge, increasing American settlement and pressure. Spain lacked the military and economic resources to govern it effectively. The United States, expanding rapidly, viewed Florida as an inevitable territory. American forces under Andrew Jackson entered Florida during the Seminole Wars, exposing Spain's inability to defend its claim. In 1821, under the Adams-Onis Treaty, Spain formally ceded Florida to the United States. After more than 250 years, Spanish rule ended permanently. The United States flag, the fourth and final flag, 1821 to 1861. Under American control, St. Augustine entered a new political era. Florida officially became a U.S. territory in 1821 and achieved statehood in 1845. American governance brought new laws, new settlers, and a shift away from imperial rule to federal authority. But that's not the end of the story. The fifth, but not final flag, Confederate, 1861 to 1862. When the Civil War erupted, Florida seceded and joined the Confederate States of America. St. Augustine technically fell under Confederate authority, though its strategic value was limited. Union naval forces quickly blockaded the coast, and Federal troops occupied the city early in the war. As a result, St. Augustine avoided the widespread destruction experienced elsewhere in the South. With the Confederacy's defeat in 1865, full federal authority was restored, slavery ended, and the long process of Reconstruction began. The United States flag, 1865 to present. Under permanent American governance, St. Augustine entered its modern era. The city evolved from a frontier settlement to a historic landmark. In the late 19th century, figures like Henry Flagler transformed it into a luxury tourist destination, tying its future to preservation rather than conquest. In the 20th century, St. Augustine again became a focal point of national change. During the Civil Rights Movement, the city witnessed some of the most violent confrontations of the era, highlighting the unresolved contradictions within American democracy. St. Augustine has flown the flags of empires, monarchies, a rebellion, and a republic. Each left its mark, each believed its rule would last, but the city endured beyond them all. In St. Augustine, history is not buried. It stands, layered in coquina stone and memory, reminding us that power is temporary, but place endures. Hey, thanks for watching. For more local history and content, don't forget to like and subscribe.